absolute privilege. And here is joining me in commentary, Mr. Louis Lett. Louis, how are you today, sir?
Jonathan, firstly, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here for the first time. I'm doing absolutely great. It's great to be in Cobram, and it's great to see for the first time the Australian Beach Volleyball Tour.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We are in an iconic part of the world here on the banks of the beautiful Murray River. We're getting ready for the bronze medal match. We're just about to throw down. Ben Abbott, I know, is courtside. He's about to interview the two ladies' teams that are about to come out on a court. So, Ben, are you ready to go down there, my friend?
Absolutely, almost ready to go. We're joined here by one of our bronze medal athletes, Jana Milutinovic. Welcome, congratulations firstly on a successful round one of the Australian Tour. Just to quickly, what's it like to be back here at Cobram to kickstart the Australian Tour?
It's awesome, Ben. I really love coming back here every year. I mean, weather is great, conditions are perfect, so really keen to get back out there today.
Fantastic. All the best for your bronze medal match. Jana Milutinovic with your partner Kayla Mears there. We're going to be joined here by Sarah Burton as well. Welcome to you all the way from Western Australia, joining us here in Cobram, ABVT athlete. Tell us what it's been like to be back here, back on the national tour, back at a national level playing the sport that we love, beach volleyball.
Oh, it's been amazing. Over the break it was, really tough not being able to play and compete, but it's just awesome to be back here. Keen to, play again.
Absolutely fantastic. All the best, Sarah. All the best to your partner. Ready to rock here, courtside. Round one, Australian Beach Volleyball Tour here, Cobram Barooga Classic. Ready to rock and roll, first serve, minutes away.
Thank you, Ben Abbott. Courtside looks beautiful conditions. Louis, there it is, the bronze medal match. It is going to be Jana Milutinovic and Kayla Mears up against Sarah Burton and Michaela Stratti. So really looking forward to this one. An iconic part of the world. Beach volleyball normally played on a beach, but we're on the banks of the Murray. Gum trees and koalas and kookaburras. It must be a bit of a culture shock for a newly arrived British gent to see this, I would imagine.
The Bondi of the bush. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, beach volleyball is the same wherever you go, but when you get to come to some iconic spots, as you said, like this, it's just an absolute treat to be here. And it's also really nice conditions. I mean, there's a little bit of breeze out there today, but it's almost a cooling breeze, isn't it? For a British guy that's been here a week, it's been a baptism of fire.
Here are the athletes being introduced. I should point out, first referee, congratulations on their appointment. Aaron Cray and Carl Hayduck as well will be officiating the women's bronze medal match. So we're getting underway. The team in gold, Sarah Burton, the taller of the two athletes, Michaela, Queensland partner. Incredibly difficult for the Western Australian athletes to be part of an integrated program. We know it's been a challenge. And here is the other combination in the red tops, the wonderful Kayla Mears, one of this a wonderful family of beach volleyball, or volleyballers, the Mears family, and her partner, the taller South Australian Jana Milutinovic. So that is the combination that will be playing off. Best of three sets for the bronze medal. I was out there earlier. It's a light breeze. Louis, you've been walking around. I think this is picture postcard stuff, but more importantly, really good conditions for beach volleyball.
Yeah, it's beautiful. There is a slight breeze, but not too much that's going to do too much to the ball in these sort of scenarios. I've been really impressed with this team this week. They've played really well. They've come up against some other teams based in Queensland on the programme, and they've been aggressive from the baseline, and they've passed really, really well. So I'm excited to see how they fare up here.
All right, we are nearly ready to go. That is Kayla Mears to start the women's bronze medal match on the Australian Beach Volleyball Tour here at Thompson's Beach in Cobram. We are underway. First rally of the match, a nice settler. So you always want to land your first attack, don't you, in these matches?
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to find rhythm early, and something that was impressive was the first pass was absolutely on point, which just means that your vision increases, your rhythm increases, and you've got more options at the net if you pass well.
Absolutely. The hand signals, they've changed over the years. They used to mean something very simple back in my day, but there it is, the first overpass. We talked about the breeze. As you look at the screen, folks, from right to left, the breeze is coming almost straight down the beach from the right-hand side, so that overpass was maybe a bit of an overcorrection for that breeze. The players just starting to get their radar, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good service pressure all the same from Burton and Stratti. Well, you say that, and then ball goes straight into the net. But as you said, passing is one of those really tough skills that you have to try and find yourself in rhythm early. And Jana just overpassing the first one, but it's still early doors, and there's a lot of volleyball left in this.
Very much. 2-1 or 1-2 is the scoreboard. You can see the team at the top of the scoreboard are in the pink tops, and Burton and Stratti in the yellow, and that's a nice block. So that's a you know, Louis, you talked about the overpass is maybe a bit of a nervous kind of expression, but for Jana to get that first block, I think that's a really confidence-building moment for her.
Yeah, you can see physically a very, very good athlete. And it's one thing being in the right spot, but it's another thing making the read. The pass was off, so there weren't many angles to the line that first attack, as she's on the turn again, and again the height coming through.
And that's interesting. That's almost a payoff from the block she got on the previous point. The attacking players then had to adjust for a sharper angle. Kayla Mears in the defensive position got the pickup. So that's when you see the blocking player and the defensive player really working well together. So Maltinovic and Mears hit the lead 3-2, as Louis Lett saying they're very, very early stages. First set. And the off speed. So very similar sort of physical characteristics, Louis, this team. You've got the taller athlete that'll be doing all the blocking, and then the shorter athlete. So Michaela Stratty and Kayla Mears are the two shorter players. That's Michaela setting the ball. Do you expect them to play a very similar style?
I do. I haven't seen so much of the team in yellow this week, but as they look to set up, they're looking to hang on the angle for a period of time, and what that means is they're defending the powerful attack on the cross court and then looking to run down the shot over the top of the block. But as the game goes on, you'll see the tactics be sort of tampered with depending on maybe tendencies or patterns of play that we see throughout. So at the moment, you'd say that in the early stages, they're just sort of figuring each other out a little bit and seeing if their tactics are working, and then we'll see the tactical changes come, hopefully, as I say that, as the game continues into the latter part of the set.
The athletes changing ends, every 7 points scored to sort of nullify those weather conditions, but that's a really, really important point. That's Sarah Burton getting the ace down the line with the breeze, so that's cash money with the breeze behind your back. And the bronze medal match, Louis, let's talk about it conceptually. I mean, it's a difficult match to back up for. Both these teams have lost their last match, and with that, the opportunity to play for the gold. How do you get yourself back up to try and finish the tournament with a win?
Yeah, good question. I mean, psychologically, it's tough coming off of a loss in the semi-final, but there's only two ways in beach volleyball that you can leave the competition with a win. So actually, they could still leave with a very, very good feeling, having won the bronze, as opposed to everybody else, apart from the winners, leaving with a loss. So in theory, there's all to play for, because you also don't want to be in that fourth place position either, because that's obviously the first one off the podium.
Yeah, no, fair point. Bit of a spiking area. So the scoreboard leaping out 7-3. I was going to talk about maybe the right-hand side of the beach being the less advantaged side. Generally, you see the teams serving and spiking into the breeze, getting the advantage, but it's certainly not playing out that way. Burton and Stratty in the yellow at the right-hand side of screen having a nice little run of points there. So I see a timeout called by Jana and Kayla. So first set action, you're watching the Australian Beach Volleyball Tour round one. Jonathan Fogarty joined with Louis Lett, bringing you all the action. Hope wherever you're watching in the Volleyverse, you're enjoying it. It's picture postcard conditions. This time last year, Louis, when we played this event, it was over 40 degrees, and it was an absolute summer scorcher here at Cobram. Koalas were falling out of trees. Look at these fantastic referees, Jaden Norsworthy and Kevin Lenton, I beg your pardon, on the stand there. So the athletes probably enjoying slightly more comfortable conditions. And again, it's an important point, Louis, you made. I mean, they have just played a semi-final, so the conditions and the light and the breeze, there's nothing new. They should be pretty comfortable by now, you'd think.
Yeah, we'll be able to see a lot of what the wind's doing with the setting. So as you can see, the ball's going quite high on the set. So if that ball starts to blow around, you get a real good indication of how much the game's actually being affected by the wind. And at the moment, it doesn't seem like it's too bad for any of the players out there. It's another nice play. But it's also been tough, isn't it, for the tournament organisers this week? Because although we had the heat last year, we've also had a little bit of flooding. So the courts have been shrunk down to just 4, well, competition courts, so to speak.
Yeah, Thompson's Beach a lot smaller than we all recall it, that's for sure. We had something like 8 courts last year, but that's okay. Gee, they've been great. The people of the Cobram and Barooga, twin towns here on the border of Victoria and New South Wales, have embraced beach volleyball with open arms, and they've really made the players and athletes, even the referees, feel welcome, which is no mean feat, let me tell you. So really, really pleased to be here. 8-4 the scoreboard. The team at the bottom of the screen, that's Milutinovic and Mears up against Burton and Stratty. This is Michaela Stratty there with the service error. So 5-8, the scoreboard not getting away from the team at the bottom of the screen, but they do want to close that gap. They trail 5-8. First set, of course, we play best of 3 sets. If you don't know the sport of beach volleyball very well, folks, you've got to win 2 sets to win the match. We play point per rally, so every time a rally is played, someone's going to get a point. So a service error like that hands the ball back to the opposition and puts a point on the board. You can see good communication, the girls not being too outlandish with their skills, fairly linear, classical dig set spike stuff. Are you going to see much of a technical or tactical change, or is this the pattern of the match that you're expecting, Louis?
Unsure at the moment. I mean, well, what we saw there from Mears is a really good bit of transition work. It's one thing making a dig in beach volleyball, but you'll see that when the rally's so variable in transition, she does a good job of still staying aggressive and scoring the point. And that's going to tactically ask a couple of things of the defender. It's going to make the defender sit more. So if you're shooting too much, the defender's going to get a little bit ready to chase around the softer shots all the time. But as soon as you can make them sit in the stand, especially in transition with a little bit more of a powerful swing, defender's going to have to sit there a little bit more too, and then you can go to your shots a little bit later on in the set if she wants to. But at the moment, being aggressive is working out.
Well, a bit of an overpass. That again, that just I think the effect of the breeze. Kayla Mears trying to really set Jana right on the net to bring that height into play, but that's a double-edged sword when the breeze is coming over your shoulder. It floated on, and Sarah Burton feasted on the overpass.
Absolutely a double-edged sword. You couldn't put it any better way, because with the height and sort of like the length of the arms that Jana has on her, even if the ball is tight, she can reach higher and just change direction of the ball quite late. So it's a little bit of risk for reward for them. But as you said, the wind just getting the better of that one.
But then backing it up with really strong blocking there, just coming out of the replay, Sarah making a really good block position at the net. So back-to-back points with her presence at the net will start maybe just unlocking some fear and doubt in the hands of the opposition. That's another close set, but I feel like she dodged a bullet there.
That's a perfect example. It goes with the left hand, so sort of coming in quite straight on the left side, which means everything power-wise is going to the line there. So if it goes with the right hand, it has to go to the line, but she goes with the left, and it completely throws the team in yellow off.
Yeah, she ended up touching the net as well, actually, so it wouldn't have mattered where the ball landed. So the team in pink, but again, Sarah Burton, the taller of the two in the yellow, they're just showing good composure. They're not letting big runs of points go. They built a handy lead, so it's 12-7 now, the combination. Sarah Burton, Michaela Stratti up by 5.
They've done a really good job. Burton on that occasion just comes in and holds the defender quite well. We were talking previously about sort of crushing the cross court with the powerful spike, but that time she showed a little bit of cross court, and that held Mears in that position in sort of the power line of the spiker before turning it with the wrist very, very late. And that's sort of the game in turn, is holding it with the powerful swings with this up and down game, and then sort of working outside of that power line to beat the defender for speed.
For those of you at home, you're not getting to enjoy the visual of Louis showing us all of these technical skills with his arms as well, so I'm getting the full experience, which I'm loving. And I'll be interested for the combination, Louis, of Jana and Kayla. If the block of Burton starts to get a few more touches, are they going to then change, as you say, their structure? Will they hit a second ball over? Will they change the point of attack at the net? At the moment, although that wasn't an effective block for Sarah Burton, she nearly got another one. So, an ace down the middle. Gosh, that was probably overdue for Jana and Kayla. They needed that, didn't they?
They certainly did, and they've just started getting their way back into the game, but the service pressure is so key in this game, because as we're talking about, spiking in beach volleyball is about having multiple options. And if you can have multiple options, it opens up the court. It makes it harder for the defense team to obviously cover that big, wide open 8 by 8 meter court. But as soon as you start to pass off the net, you start to lose those options. And service pressure has the ability to do that very easily. And that's not just about serving aces like we've just maybe seen, but even just knocking them out of system, as we call it in beach volleyball, is when you pass off the net.
Just to confirm, that was an ace, so the scoreboard now 9-12 is the correct score. At 21 points, 9 and 12 add up to 21. They take the technical timeout, so both teams get to have a bit of a break. And it's interesting when you go out there, Louis, and you stand on the court, you think, if it's only 2 people on the court, there's so much open space, so much open sand, how could I ever miss? But as you say, it's the pressure of a bronze medal match, and the sun and the breeze and the crowd and the noise. You know, your decision-making ability seems to kind of erode a bit. And I think some of these matches are not always won by the best physical athletes, but the best mental athletes sometimes. So when the pressure starts to lift at the back end of this first set, we'll see who's got the mental strength to come up with the clutch plays. So that's a mental error, you'd have to say, out of the technical timeout for Kayla Mears, missing that serve. So that's going to be 13-9. At the moment, I kind of feel like they're in about third gear, Louis. I don't see either team really going for big power on their serve or their spike. They're still in the kind of a getting to know each other phase. I'll be interested to see if someone can put the hammer down and really take control of this first set.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good bit of serving and passing all around on that time. The ball was slightly deep, so a little shift in the feet. Good stability from Jana to hold that ball and hold an angle off the arms and really stay aggressive with the pass. But you're completely right. Service pressure is such a key component of this game. And what we see, especially from the younger athletes at times in the sport, is that as the pressure builds up, you sort of serve not to lose the game as opposed to serving to win.
Who's going to be brave? Who's got the bravery? And so that's bravery in a subtle form. Michaela Strati there in front of the really big block to take all the pace off the ball and just go for the roll shot over the block. I mean, that can come back and embarrass you, but that was inch perfect. So that's a brave shot for mine in those circumstances. 14-10 now. This is Strati serving, putting the pressure back on Milutinovic, who has to hit a roll shot from off the net. So again, little runs of points in favour of the team in yellow for Sarah and Michaela. They're able to win little bunches of points, and it's translating to a 5-point lead at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. They've had the better start, haven't they? But again, as we were saying previously, the pass just off the net from Jana that time. And what we'll see here is more rhythm and more angles, and you might see it put the ball away. We're going to have a big pause before that, aren't we?
Yeah, no, we were waiting on the call. I didn't want to say anything too foolish for once in my life, but the ball was called in, so that's okay. And it's interesting that Kayla Mears has put her hands away. She's now bump setting Jana, so she's quite a good hand setter, Kayla, whether that's the pressure of the moment, the pressure of where we're at in the tournament, the breeze. You know, Kayla's kind of just put one of her really good skills aside for a moment. So I wonder if that's the pressure of the moment starting to tell.
It's a really interesting point that you've made there, Jonathan, to be fair, because hand setting in theory is, for spikers, the easiest way to get a read off where the ball's going next. There's more varying factors with your bump set. So she's done a good job to put that in the right spot for Jana, who put that ball away. And then in turn, Burton and Strati were a little bit out of system previously. Again, more bump setting. And because of that, underneath the ball, and you see that all players at some time get caught underneath the ball in this game, but once you're underneath the ball, you also lose your options, as we were speaking about earlier on, and you become a little bit more readable. That's a great turn.
Hey, that is a nice turn at the shoulder. That's a bit better, and that's a confidence play from Kayla Mears, and she's that sort of, she's a bit of a quiet achiever, Kayla. She doesn't make a lot of noise. She's not really demonstrative. She keeps a lot of that kind of emotion in check, but you know she's a real fighter. So as this first set gets closer and closer, look for Kayla to starting to express herself in those big moments. This is her partner, the South Australian Jana Milutinovic. We're going to get that surname right at least once today, I'm absolutely sure. So the service pressure's good. Jana will get a transition ball. What does Kayla do? She's got to go with the bump set, and that's a shame. Gosh, they had that moment to win then, Louis, but they couldn't.
Yeah, they really did. It's a game of such inches there, because Jana's really trying to be aggressive with that first pass, which she has to be, because we're talking about options and having the choice of where to go offensively. But then the risk versus reward is a little bit too tight, and you can just see, as we said, a game of inches, a little meter too close to the net, and all of a sudden Mears has a big job to do to get the set out of the net.
Yeah, it would have been 15-14, but instead it's 16-13, so that's a big moment. Look at the wheels on young Sarah Burton trying to block and then turn and run the 8 metres back to the baseline.
Been really impressive, or I've been impressed with Kayla Mears so far, because what we have seen is we've seen that aggression, but we've also seen the ability to choose the shot well and turn the ball away from the body when she had to. And she's been really effective on that left side. And you called it perfectly. Being able to be calm in these situations are being really beneficial.
And we see it again there from Michaela, just that roll shot down the line. She knows the big block of Jana's in front of her. So, you know, the two shorts, if I can use that term inoffensively, the two shorter athletes getting a bit of pressure on them, but on either side of the net showing some good composure. So for Michaela Strati into the breeze, this is a big moment. Can she get that extra point that they've done so effectively on their serve? Here's Kayla to just drop it. I beg your pardon, Jana gets it, so that's okay. Gosh, it's all there for the taking in this first set of the bronze medal match, Louis led.
Yeah, it really is. There's also time, isn't there? I mean, you might think a race to 21 is a short amount of time, but anything can really happen in the next couple of minutes or so, especially with the good service pressure that Jana has. But now there's a little bit more pressure on her shoulders to deliver, to get back in the opener.
She gets a touch. Oh, Mears with a breathtaking layout. Here's the chance. Can she get a block to make the... Oh, it's such a pity, Louis. That was an incredible play from Kayla Mears to keep the ball flying. But once again, the composure, I'll use the word, Michaela Strati didn't get a great purchase on the ball, but look at that tooling the block. That's clutch.
It's great decision-making, isn't it? Because basically set underneath the bus, so the decision-making had to change into challenging the blocker as opposed to challenging the defender. And due to that, it means that not everything has to be perfect, but you can still score the point.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the shorter athlete, when it's a little off pace like that, you can have the advantage over the taller blocker when it gets a bit ropey. This is going to be a difficult put away. Kayla does well. They're going to get a free ball. Okay. Oh, Kayla's filthy with herself. Into the breeze. Once again, Michaela Stratty, when the play gets a bit ragged, when things get a little bit out of shape or out of system, as Louis, you say, Michaela's been the one to come up with the really off-pace, really clutch plays, and that's another example.
Yeah, it's scrappy, but that'll suit Michaela Stratty quite nicely. And you said went into the wind, and even from a standing position, if you really want to attack the wind and really wrap the ball heavily, you're going to get rewarded into the breeze.
And you saw it landing well short of the girl, so she won't be happy with that at all. So we're going to side change at 19-16. So again, changing every 7 points scored, so that those weather conditions that we've talked about kind of favour both teams equally. But it is the team of Sarah Burton and Michaela Stratty in the first set of the women's bronze medal match, with a handy 3-point lead and maybe only 2 points away from taking out this first set for the bronze. They go back to Michaela, and she's been really solid. That's been money, Louis, that roll shot for her. I don't think she's missed one, unless I'm horribly wrong.
No, she really hasn't. She comes in on quite a sharp angle on the right side, which means she hasn't got as much power to the line, but she has got really good control of the wrist, and she can turn it over the top of the block really quite nicely.
And brings up a set point as well, so 4 set points. So really interesting moment here. It is going to be Michaela Stratty with 4 set points in the women's bronze medal match, and the moment gets a little bit too much for her, Louis Letton. She sends it well long. I guess we can let her get away with that error at this point of the first set.
Yeah, just with the pressure on each one outside, but there's also a big opportunity here for the youngsters serving into the breeze as well, which it's only a slight breeze, but will be regarded as the so-called good end at this stage.
And there it is. Wow, well, what a way for it to be wrapped up. The first set goes in favour of the team in yellow. Sarah Burton from Western Australia and Michaela Stratty, the Queenslander. 21-17 in this women's bronze medal match. And there you see it. Yeah, the double hit call. It's hard to let that one go. So a bit of an anticlimax. 21-17 over Jana and Kayla. Really interesting first set. I am going to be joined now in commentary. What a delight, Louis. We are being joined by our Tokyo silver medalists in Maria Faye Artacho del Solar and Taliqua Clancy. Faye, to you, what did you like about that first set? What did you see out there that caught your eye?
It was just so good to see the girls coming out, strong in the bronze medal match. It's just really good to see that the girls, from seeing them like in the past few years, it's been really good to see kind of their progress. And to be playing a bronze medal match at a national tour event it's really good to see them come through.
They're a little bit like Faye and T. We've got the tall blocker at the net, and we've got the really busy defender that not unlike you, Faye. That roll shot from Michaela, I talked about it a lot. What does it take to be confident in that clutch moment to hit a shot and take the pace off the ball? You've got to have a lot of self-confidence in yourself to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think you just got to back yourself and straight to yourself all the way through the match, and kind of not let off at clutch moments.
She did that really, really well.
Yeah, it was really good to see that she backed herself.
I'll bring T in just before we get underway. T, you love the presence of the net and being that really aggressive intimidation factor at the net. The two taller ladies, what do you see about their game that's really impressed you, whether it's blocking or attacking? What do you like to see in a blocking player?
Jana is a really huge blocker, and I've seen her at training, and I know that she can definitely put up a big, strong block, and I haven't really seen that just yet, so it's good to know that they're building some momentum through the back end of that match, so hopefully now she can have a bit more presence. There we go. That's the start of it.
Because T. Clancy asked for it. T, I'll put you on the spot. Does this match go to 3, or do you see Sarah and Michaela running away and winning it in 2?
I definitely can see this game going to 3. I think Jana and Brie, is it Brie? Or Kayla? Kayla, sorry. We're building the momentum, so hopefully they can get rid of some of the nerves that they had at the start of this match and start this set stronger.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Delightful to have Louis. Special comments from our silver medalists from Tokyo. Big thank you to T and Faye, and we'll be seeing them back in the women's gold medal match as well. We really thank them for their time. Well, Louis, we are in the start of the second set women's bronze medal match, round one of the Australian Beach Volleyball Tour. We're on the banks of the Murray River, Thompson's Beach as it's called here by the locals on the border between Victoria and New South Wales. Louis, let's take a moment to talk about you. You've come in to help coach and guide some of the young athletes in the program. What's caught your eye about the Australian Beach Volleyball program and the juniors and the way it's set up at the moment?
I have to be honest, the people, actually. I've been here gradually. Well, I've been here once before for a short time.
Sure.
But on the World Tour, got to know quite a lot of the staff, the players, and I was just really attracted to the project. Obviously, the success of T and MFA over the past couple of years has sort of led the way for Australian volleyball on the women's side of things, and it was a great chance for myself to grow in the sport and grow my knowledge base as well, and also put myself in a few more challenging situations in terms of having to deal with the people side of the sport, and that was exciting, really an exciting challenge for me.
Well, we're very pleased to have you. So
very pleased to be here as well.
Louis, join him in commentary. I hope you're enjoying the pictures we've got. Second set action, of course, just to recap, first set won by Sarah Burton, and this is Michaela Strati with the ball, and a really solid first set for Kayla Mears and Jana Milutinovic. They need to come back strong. That's Jana. Oh, well, that's such a shame. T. Clancy wanted her to bring the heat and bring the power, and she did. And there's Strati again, right place, right time.
It's just good volleyball, really. In this situation here, for Jana to kick out and still face cross-court is a very difficult thing when you pass off the net. So she did a good job of that, which means she's selling the angle. She can come back to the line. We didn't see that in the opening set, but in turn, it's a different situation. And Strati was really patient, held in the angle that she saw, and made a great dig. So in theory, we're seeing a higher level of volleyball at times from both sides.
I wonder if the left-hand side of screen, if there is much of an advantage. We see a 5-2 scoreboard, the side change. So for Michaela and Sarah, they've made the most of that first end into the breeze. It's now really up to Jana and Kayla. They'll be serving. This is Kayla Mears, the Queenslander, serving into the breeze. So they need to make, I think, a little bit more service pressure count from this end of the beach to see if they can put them under pressure. They're going to get Michaela off the net again. Here's their opportunity. Oh. Well, they had an opportunity, but Sarah Burton has snuffed it out with a block. Wow.
Great blocking from Sarah Burton, really, because it's a free ball. The initiative was really with Jana. Well, the set, again, slightly too tight to the net. And what happens, those angles and options that we talk about, it takes them away again, and it brings the blocker into the game. The blocker's job is really about taking time away from the spiker. You would think it is about being high over the net if you're watching from home for the first time, but the height buys you the time and being able to press into the zone. Sorry, I'm actually putting my hands in your face there, John.
That's fine. I'm loving it. It's the VR experience of commentating with Louis Led is delightful. I would point out that Kayla Mears, we wondered whether they would change up. This is the second half of that rally, but Kayla put the second ball over to try and catch Sarah and Michaela out of position. So we saw a little tiny structural or tactical change there by Kayla Mears to try and catch them off guard. They got the better of it. So 4-6, this is Jana serving. We want to see a nice close second set. Oh, it's a hard-driven ball though. Sarah and Michaela just not making errors. Every point the opposition have won, they've had to win, I put it to you, Louis, because Sarah and Michaela are just really solid at the moment.
I agree. In the opening set, there was a couple of times where the service errors crept in from the youngsters, and there are a couple of times where they didn't quite sort of take care of that free ball when they had the opportunity, and those are just things that we're not seeing from Burton and Strati. They're keeping their side of the things very, very solid, and they'll be really pleased with where they're at, because they'll know that if they can stay solid, that the youngsters, it's a younger person's thing, isn't it, the consistency factor, that you've got to learn to be in those positions, and there are errors that you'll be happy with, errors that you won't be happy with, and if Burton and Strati can just keep their level at a very sort of level playing field, then they're going to be fine.
Yeah, love it. This is Kayla Mears, a twin. We saw her sister Bree watching from under one of the tents. There's a little roll show. Oh, finally we see, I shouldn't say finally, but we haven't seen really any errors from Michaela Strati. All credit to Jana though, to peel off from the blocking position. She read that well and left the net open, and I think for Michaela Strati with the roll shot, it was under pressure and she couldn't land it.
It's interesting because we've seen that tactic of the team in yellow to go over the top of the block quite a few times, so they drop the ball short, and as soon as you break that block slightly late, it's just going to nudge Strati a little bit more to make another decision, and in theory it brings the defense into the game as
yeah,
well.
It's a pity though for Jana being called on a double hit on the set there, so they got the defensive pressure turned into a transition opportunity. Unfortunately, the setting hands, you'll see this as she comes off the net, turns to set her partner, and the ball just adjudged to have been, she doesn't agree, but you're not going to get that one back. She handled it well. Such a interesting and at times controversial part of our game is the hand setting and what's clean and what's dirty. Is it stayed in the hands too long? Did both hands contact it equally? And the interpretation, look, it varies from one referee to another and one tournament to another. So certainly for people trying to understand our game or casual observers, when we see the setting hand called by the referee as a double hit, it's sometimes hard to explain what was wrong with it, because it is such a murky area of our sport.
Yeah, and it even changes year by year on how those rules are interpreted by the players as well. So it's difficult for everybody involved, as it's so subjective, and whoever's sort of refereeing, yeah, also has to be very, very adaptive in the way that they interpret those rules. That's a good play.
Oh, what a shame. Kayla Mears had worked so hard on the defensive pickup deep in the court. They'd worked hard to get, I guess, the pressure on the ball back on their side, and just at that really important time, Jana just dragging the ball down. She had that transition opportunity, peeled back. The set was a pretty hittable ball, it's fair to say, and just dropping her elbow at the last minute, that'll disappoint her, I know. And then the overpass. This is going to be a really crucial moment in the bronze medal match. Yeah, that's an 11-6 scoreboard, a little mini crisis now in the bronze medal match for Kayla and Jana, Louis.
They've just, we said it earlier, a bit more consistent. We've just had almost, not the same play, but a similar play. A play with no pressure, where the team in yellow slow it away, make it look fairly simple, and sometimes the youngsters are just not quite taking those same opportunities.
And again, not unlike the first set, we see the team of Jana Milutinovic and Kayla Mears forced into that defensive timeout. Both teams can call one 30-second timeout each. And it's generally used to break that momentum. You've got a team, I'm not going to say running away, but a 5-point lead in the second set when you're already one set to love up. You know, it's the team in yellow that are enjoying the timeout. I suspect Louis led a lot more than the other.
Yeah, you call a timeout for two reasons. One's because you need to sit down, or the other reason is because you want the other team to sit down. And you don't really want to be calling it because you want to sit down. You want to be in control, and at the moment, they're not quite in control of this one, so they've called it for a reason.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. Postcard scenes here at Thompson's Beach in Cobram, on the border of Cobram-Baruga. We are on the Victorian side of the border, the Murray River wending its way through 3 states of Australia. Starts, I think, up in the Snowy Rivers area, or the Snowies of New South Wales, comes across into Victoria and finally makes its way down into South Australia, irrigating some of the great crops and really the lifeblood of many, many regions in Australia. So the Murray River there, we couldn't say a more quintessential Australian beach volleyball scene, Louis, led than this. And we've got 4 lovely, incredibly talented athletes fighting out for a bronze medal. Another transition opportunity. Will Michaela make the most of it? Going to get another chance. Oh, a rare error from Sarah Burton. Her eyes got a bit big on that one, I think, Louis, and she sprayed it wide. That's a bit of a lucky break, perhaps.
She just ran out of room, didn't she? Physical, but from the middle, her body's always facing quite sharp cross courts. It's very difficult to turn that ball back to the line. And that's one back, and maybe that was something that they spoke about in the timeout. It's just, if they can just sort of get 1 or 2 going now and start to put the opposition under pressure, you never know, it might just still be their day. There's certainly enough time left for them to...
Yeah, I can't help but think you've got to land that serve. If you've come out of the timeout, you've won the first point, which is what you're talking about, but then you've got to serve that next ball in, and that can be really, you know, can be really demoralising for a team, can't it?
That sums up the day, doesn't it, for them? Let's be honest, they sort of make a good play, and then unfortunately they can't sort of back that up from the service line and sort of make the other team sort of feel the pressure as they have throughout this game. Really, there's not been one part where they've been in control.
And that's probably, again, and you're absolutely right, Louis, and that's another aspect, is just those moments where they've put it too close on top of the net and the 2 talls go head to head, Jana versus Sarah, and once again, Sarah just sweating on that overpass.
She's made some really good reads. She had to move sort of quite late in the block there to sort of read the game and read where the ball was going, which is a big thing in blocking, is the eyes. You think that watching the ball is is really important in this sport, but actually it's watching the player and the line that they're attacking on, and also being aware of where the ball is at the same time. So there's always a lot more than you think. That beach volleyball is a lot more complex than what you'd think watching it for the first time.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not sure I understand it. Oh, and that's a tough break for Jana. They worked so hard. Jana and Kayla working really hard, but then just the block going out. That's just spirit-crushing stuff, Louis. Oh, she did everything great except turn those shoulders back in a court. And that's frustrating as the tall.
She really did, and it's a long way back now for the team in purple, although they have to be slightly happier with the last, fun enough with the last couple of minutes, because they're starting to make some better plays, and for the coaches on the side, there's a lot to be happy about, because even on this run through, they've beaten some of the better teams that are based up in Queensland as well, and they've had a good week in the office, so it might be looking like a fourth place finish, but that's a great week anyway for Mears and Milutinovic as well.
And we're in the technical timeout. Set 2. Hope you're enjoying women's bronze medal match, the Australian Beach Volleyball Tour, round 1 here at beautiful Thompson's Beach in Cobram. As the boats float on by, the paddle steamers, the people of this area love coming down to the beach, swimming in the river. This is some epic Australian scenes. We've got some epic Australian athletes here, the team in yellow. Sarah Burton from Western Australia, and this is Michaela Stratty going back to serve up against Jana Milutinovic and Kayla Mears, the South Australia-Queensland combination. And Sarah and Michaela, that's Sarah on screen leading 1-11, 14-7 in the second. But Louis, sometimes some of these matches are won by just hanging around and just still being there and hoping that the opposition maybe start running out of steam. And so there's still a bit of fight left in this match, but certainly errors like that won't make it easy.
Yeah, and again, it's good serving from Stratty, really, because serves Jana to the inside hand, who then all the body weight's going to the middle of the court, so she releases on a back set instead of making more of not more of an effort, it's more work to kick out on the left side. But fortunately, the timing then is an issue, and there's another error in the spiking compartment of the game for them. You just feel that it's going to take something special to get their way back in here with 6 left for Burton and Stratty, and serving hasn't been, we haven't seen the service pressure that potentially we've seen earlier on in the competition.
And once again, the overpass or that transition opportunity, and they put the ball on the wrong side of the net. And that's something I know the coach will be talking to them about, I'm sure, during the week. It's seizing that moment. You've made the big defensive play. Here it is, Kayla Mears pops it up beautifully, but a partner, into the breeze too, which really amplifies that error. In my book, that putting that ball on the other side of the court that's a coach killer, we'd call that. Jana finally detonating on one, but it feels almost like too little too late at 9-16 and 1-0 down, Louis.
I mean, that's an exciting swing, isn't it? High, as you were talking about earlier on, about having a high elbow. And there's so much promise in Jana's career because of the physicality that she has, being able to sort of hit from that height and the different angles that allows you to play onto the court. And the blocking is also there, and that's good defensive play as well. There's another opportunity here, but they have to tidy up just plays like that. Transition setting is one of the toughest skills in beach volleyball.
Here we go, here's an opportunity. Oh, the double hit called this time on Sarah Burton. Well, that is a get out of jail free card, because once again for Jana and Kayla, that, as you said, Louis, that transition opportunity, they just couldn't quite keep their composure. But they got a little bit lucky, a rare setting error from Sarah Burton. So 10-16, second set. It is do or die now for Jana and Kayla. They really need to, as you say, Louis, find a couple of points in a row. Can Jana get in and get a roof up over her tall Western Australian athlete? That is inch perfect down the line.
Still no errors, really. If you look back over the game that we've been watching now for half an hour or so, they've just been so steady without doing anything too sort of special either. It just shows that if you come out and make 0 errors or as close to 0 errors as possible, that you're going to get rewarded over the long game.
Absolutely. Michaela Stratty serving, she's been absolutely rock solid. She's been almost the MVP for mine of this match. This time, Jana, that was the swing of a cranky athlete, Louis. That's what that was. She saw the scoreboard, saw the ball sit up, and thought, I'm just going to club this. And it makes a lovely sound, but sadly it goes deep. So, as you say, the error count, if we look back over the statistics, I don't think will flatter Jana and Kayla. They've been okay, but as you say, Sarah and Michaela have come to play, and they've just been, I think clinical would be the word I'd probably use for this performance.
Yeah, clinical, but the future's still very bright for the younger athletes. They might be behind now, but hopefully they're learning a lot of lessons to invest in themselves in future Australian tour events
And beyond.
yeah, that was the word I was looking
There
for.
you go. There you go. Here's a free ball. Okay, here's their transition opportunity. Can they get a little bit of structure back? Well, we need more of that. Yana, Kayla, you had that transition opportunity. They'd learnt their lesson. 11-18. Is it too little too late? We are in the second set. First to 21. If Burton and Stratty get to 21 with a 2-point lead, the bronze medal is theirs for Yana and Kayla on the right of screen, at the top of your screen now. They really need to throw all caution to the wind, Louis, and just go for everything.
Yeah, they say serving is a risk versus reward sort of process, but I think they have to go full risk.
Well,
from
at
here in.
19-11, I've got to tell you, their campaign is on all life support. It's this wonderful athlete from Western Australia, Sarah Burton, back at the service line. She can really tee off, I think. She's got license to go for everything now. They're only 2 points away from the bronze medal. That's better. Yana Milutinovic, a little help.
Those are the angles that we're talking about. I mean, at the height that Yana possesses there, she can show some cross court, and the defender's sat in the right spot, but because of the height that she's at, the speed that she can dial the ball away means that it's sort of undiggable.
Well, it's 12-19, so it is now or never for the team on the right of screen. Kayla Mears with a great digger, and what can she do in transition? A little placement roll shot down the line. Okay, 13-19. It is not over for the fans of Kayla and Yana out there. There is still a little bit of light showing under the door. It's not completely shut, but the bronze medal is looking to be almost out of their reach. What can Yana do from the service line? She's got to land the serve, Louis. That's the first mission.
Yeah, it's all on this run, isn't it? Really, you surrender this too early and the game is over. But we haven't seen a good run yet from this team throughout the whole game. We haven't seen them get a run of 2, 3, 4, 5 points in a row, and that's a credit, and it's another missed serve. So just hasn't happened for them from behind the baseline, and
really
they've missed out on some sort of the plays that they would expect themselves to put away, and the plays that we've seen them throughout the competition put
So
away.
it is Michaela Stratty with a match point ball, a bronze medal ball. They've been flawless. Sarah Burton, Michaela Stratty. This is Michaela serving for the match for the bronze medal. Yana will get a chance to put the foot down again. Stratty's been faultless, though. She's been the MVP. I'm going to stick with that call. Yana again finds her. Michaela wants it back. She wants to finish this on her swing, and she will. Well, there it is. 21-13. The second set goes the way of the first, and Sarah Burton, Michaela Stratty have defeated Yana Milutinovic and Kayla Mears. 21-17, 21-13. The bronze medal is going to them. Congratulations. In Louis Lett, absolute flawless performance.
They were great, weren't they? No, hardly any errors. I mean, this sort of sums it up. It's a good serve. The defense from Stratty throughout has been strong. That was the first one, just on the sharper angle. And then the second one, she shifts position to the other side of the court, makes another dig. And you sort of, they've been very hard to beat. Let's put it that way. Without offensively being as powerful maybe as the opposition, they've been really hard to break down, and they've made minimal errors, and they've been rewarded.
Absolutely, a little off speed there. So there it is. Congratulations. Sarah and Michaela have been, well, they, as we said, flawless, and they are the bronze medal winners here. And round one of the Australian Beach Volleyball Tour, we're going to catch up with the girls shortly and hear how they feel about that victory. But yeah, I think they'll look back on the tape of that one and they'll take a lot of, not just comfort, Louis Lett, they'll take a lot of confidence as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can start to make this their bread and butter, they're going to be a very tough team to beat, just because of they just don't give anything to the opposition. It's very, very solid. The passing and setting is good.
Yeah, no, wonderful scenes here. The Murray River, the lifeblood of so many regions around this part of the world. The youngster having fun out there today, and the youngsters have been having fun on centre court, the bronze medal match. And we have Ben Abbott in position, I believe, with the victorious team.
Absolutely do, folks. Thank you so much. Girls, congratulations, your bronze medalists for the first round of the Australian Beach Volleyball Tour. Sarah Burton, Michaela Stratty, well done to you once more. Unbeatable from the baseline, but it helps as well when you've got a defender like Michaela in the backcourt.
Oh, it sure does. Credit to Michaela and credit to Yana and Kayla. They played amazing and it was a great game, yeah.
Absolutely. You guys are battling high above the net and you dug every single ball. We left nothing on the court at the end there. First bronze medal in the Australian Beach Volleyball Tour. How's it feel?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, it for sure helps having a big block. Sarah, yeah, sets it up real nice for me.
Absolutely. Well, ladies, congratulations again. You set the tone for the day. We're ready to rock here for our next medal match. Well done to you. Bronze medalist the first round of the Australian Beach Volleyball Tour, Sarah Burton, Michaela Strati. We go back to you guys live in the studio. Cheers, folks. Next match moments away with the men's bronze medal.
Well, Ben, thank you, mate. Wonderful job. The girls, look, they were stoked. And look, this is the reason, you know, Louis, you've come all the way from the UK and we brought you into country Victoria. And these are the wonderful folk of the region that have, it seems incongruous to some of these people, beach volleyball on the banks of the beautiful Murray River. But they've been so kind and it's been a glorious weekend here. We've had a great time.
It's been fantastic. I have to be honest. I didn't know what to expect when I was coming down here. The 2.5 hour flight and the 3 hour drive. Well, if you're flying from London, you can be pretty much anywhere in Europe with that sort of travel itinerary. But it's just been fantastic. Everywhere we've stayed, everywhere we've been made to feel very welcome. And it feels like it's such a great fit to have beach volleyball here. And you said it, an iconic location. I agree. I think, yeah, no matter what happens, I'm going to remember the Murray River and I'm going to remember Cobram for the rest of my life.
I love it.
I just need one of those hats.
Yeah, we'll get you one of those. That's right. Before too long, they get delivered. The lads getting ready. So just to recap, the bronze medal match for the ladies has now been completed, and it is congratulations again. Sarah Burton from Western Australia and Michaela Strati from Queensland have won the bronze. They defeated Jana Milutinovic and Kayla Mears from Queensland. So coming up next, of course, the women's gold medal match. Looking forward to that one very much as well. And it's interesting, we had MFA and T, and I'm going to duck down and have a chat to them in a moment, courtside. But this is the opportunity, Louis. Our couple of top women's teams post-Olympic cycle has been rehab, there's been surgery, so some of them are not playing this weekend. So these are big opportunities for the second level and some of these younger athletes, both male and female, to start establishing themselves and I guess getting the experience of winning these big matches and winning these big moments.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the great thing about Australian beach volleyball at the moment, or the exciting thing about